Today we are going to be talking about resource guarding, a behavior that can develop when a dog becomes pretty possessive over items like food, toys, bones, or even people. Resource guarding can be frustrating and challenging, but the good news is that a healthy follower-leader relationship can help prevent this from even developing in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. So in a household with multiple dogs, again, it's really important to be proactive in managing their behavior to prevent any one dog from becoming possessive over that resource. So whether it's food, toys, or even your attention, you need to ensure that none of the dogs, no specific dog can feel entitled to any one thing, and that the pack dynamics are in balance.
And that balance starts with the understanding that the humans are the leaders and all the dogs are on the same playing field. There's no alpha dog other than the humans. The dogs need to understand that resources are not theirs by default, but are provided by you, the leader. When this is clear, then there's less room for possessiveness to take hold.
Absolutely. And that key to preventing resource guarding is to set those boundaries and enforce consistent rules around the resources, but honestly, enforce those consistent expectations all the time. And if your dog is getting possessive over a toy, a bone, their food, or you, it's important to correct that behavior right away and don't let them get away with it and think that that pack hierarchy is developing. So if you let that behavior continue, it could create a pattern where your dog can kind of feels a little entitled to those resources.
Absolutely. If your dog is showing signs of resource guarding, it could be because they're getting too much access to those resources without any boundaries, or they might be getting too pushy in other areas of their life that you're kind of letting go and not using as opportunities to correct that behavior. The key is to be proactive and set clear rules early on. Don't let your dog dictate who gets what or when.
Yeah, so for example, if a dog is possessive over their food, don't let them guard it. Like, you should be able to walk by their bowl. You can add treats to it, so that way your dog doesn't associate you coming up and that food getting messed with. Like, we don't really like to teach going and messing with the food and taking it away from the dog to show your dominance. Like, I wouldn't really like that either, but what we do like to do is show that we can come up to you and drop treats in there to associate, like, someone approaching me is not a bad thing. But if there's other dogs in the household, you cannot let other dogs come up to a dog eating. They will probably get submissive and walk away, or they're going to defend that food. So if the example of food, you have to control the area around there, and we do that by kind of physically controlling all of the dogs in the household.
The same goes for people. If your dog is being possessive over people, whether it's getting between you and another person or not allowing certain people into a specific room, they need to understand that you control access to relationships and space in the household. The key is to be consistent with how you manage these interactions and ensure that your dog respects the boundaries that you have set.
So in multi-dog households, managing the pack dynamic is really important. You want to avoid situations where one dog feels like they need to guard things from others. It's important to provide each dog their own space and then make sure they understand that no one is allowed to monopolize the resource. And this helps maintain the harmony and reduces the likelihood of one dog becoming possessive.
Ultimately, it all comes back to the leader-follower relationship. As the human, you need to make it clear that you are in charge of all resources in the home. Your dog should know that their value does not come from what they can guard or protect, but from how they respond to you as the leader. When this dynamic is in place, you'll see less resource guarding behavior almost immediately.
Yeah, and just to recap, resource guarding is a behavior that can be prevented by setting those clear boundaries and reinforcing a strong leader-follower relationship and making sure that all dogs are on the same level of hierarchy. And if your dog is showing possessiveness over toys, food, or people, correct that behavior immediately and then teach them and show them that they're not allowed to guard resources. And this may mean you have to minimize access to that resource for a while. But by managing your pack and ensuring everyone knows that we as the humans and the leaders are in control, you're going to prevent this behavior from developing and create a more peaceful, respectful home environment.
The more proactive and consistent you are with managing resources and setting rules, the less likely resource guarding will even become a problem in your household. The goal is to have a balanced, respectful interaction between all members of the pack, and that starts with you as the leader.
Good luck, and we'll see you in the next video.